Floyd Mayweather is in command. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mayweather has defeated him, winning every round of this fight.
There are athletes who get paid, and then there's Floyd Mayweather Jr., a man who engineered the system so every punch he threw multiplied his wealth. He didn't just win fights.
Oh, big left hand!
He controlled the money behind them. While other fighters stepped into the ring hoping for a payday, Mayweather walked in already owning the event. Pay-per-view, ticket sales, sponsorship splits. He positioned himself at the center of it all, and by the time he walked away from boxing undefeated, he had built something far more powerful than a legacy. He built a financial blueprint that turned violence into a billion-dollar business. But that didn't happen overnight. It started in a place where money was the last thing he had. Floyd Mayweather Jr. was born on February 24, 1977, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, into a world where boxing was less of a career path and more of a lifeline. His father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., had competed at a high level against fighters like Sugar Ray Leonard, and his uncle, Roger Mayweather, was a multiple-time world champion. But outside the ring, life was unstable. His family dealt with poverty, addiction, and incarceration. There were times when electricity was cut off and resources were scarce. It was in those conditions that Floyd learned early: survival requires discipline. As a child, he would walk to the gym daily, often choosing training over school. Eventually, he made a decision that few were willing to make. He dropped out of high school to dedicate himself entirely to boxing. It wasn't a gamble to him. It was the only path he believed could change his life. His amateur career quickly validated that belief. With an 84-8 record, Mayweather became one of the most technically sound fighters in the United States. His defensive style, precision punching, and ability to control distance made him nearly untouchable. At 19 years old, he stepped onto the Olympic stage at the 1996 Atlanta Games. Fighting in front of a home crowd, he advanced to the semifinals and ultimately secured a bronze medal after a controversial decision that many believed should have gone his way. That moment became fuel. It gave him a chip on his shoulder that would carry into his professional career, a belief that he would have to take control of his destiny because no one was going to hand it to him. Turning professional later that year, Mayweather entered the sport under the promotional banner of Top Rank, led by Bob Arum. Early in his career, he earned modest purses compared to what would come later, often a few $100,000 per fight. But his dominance was undeniable. By age 21, he captured his first world title, the WBC Super Featherweight Championship in 1998. From there, he continued climbing weight classes, collecting belts, and building a reputation as one of the most skilled fighters in the sport. But behind the scenes, something wasn't sitting right. Despite his success, Mayweather began to realize that he wasn't being compensated in proportion to the value he was generating. Promoters were taking the largest share of the revenue, controlling the narratives, and dictating the structure of the fights. Floyd was the attraction, but he didn't control the business. That realization became the most important turning point of his career. At 29 years old in 2006, Mayweather made a decision that would redefine his future. He paid approximately $750,000 to buy himself out of his contract with Top Rank. It was a bold move, one that very few fighters had ever attempted. But Floyd wasn't thinking like a traditional athlete. He was thinking like a business owner. He launched Mayweather Promotions, positioning himself not just as the fighter, but as the promoter, the brand, and the centerpiece of every event. This is where everything changed. From that point forward, Mayweather controlled the revenue streams. He wasn't just getting paid to fight, he was taking a percentage of the entire event. Pay-per-view sales, gate revenue, sponsorships, international rights. He structured deals where he kept the majority of the upside. In some cases, reports indicated he was earning as much as 70% or more of total event revenue. At the same time, he made a strategic branding shift. He transitioned from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather. This wasn't just a nickname, it was a business strategy. He leaned fully into the image of wealth and success. Private jets, luxury watches, stacks of cash, these became part of his identity. And more importantly, they became part of the marketing. People didn't just want to watch him fight, they wanted to see the lifestyle. And just as importantly, they wanted to see him lose. That dynamic, love him or hate him, drove pay-per-view numbers to unprecedented levels. In 2007, Mayweather faced Oscar De La Hoya in what became a defining moment. The fight generated over 2.4 million pay-per-view buys, setting a new record at the time. Mayweather earned approximately $25 million, but more importantly, he proved that he could be the central draw of a massive financial event. As the years progressed, the numbers only grew. In 2013, Mayweather fought Canelo Alvarez, one of the sport's rising stars. The event generated over $150 million in revenue, with Mayweather taking a significant share. By this point, he wasn't just participating in fights, he was orchestrating them as financial productions. But the peak came in 2015. At 38 years old, Mayweather stepped into the ring against Manny Pacquiao in the long-awaited fight of the century. The build-up lasted years, creating unprecedented anticipation. When the fight finally happened, it delivered record-breaking numbers. Over 4.6 million pay-per-view buys and more than $600 million in total revenue. Mayweather's cut? Approximately $250 million for a single night's work. Take a moment to understand that. One night, $250 million. But even that wasn't the end. After officially retiring with a 49-0 record, Mayweather returned in 2017 for a crossover event against Conor McGregor. The fight blended boxing and mixed martial arts audiences, creating a global spectacle. Critics questioned the legitimacy, but from a business standpoint, it was a masterclass. The event generated over 4.3 million pay-per-view buys and nearly $550 million in revenue. Mayweather earned another estimated $275 million. By the end of his career, his total earnings exceeded $1.1 billion. But what truly separates Mayweather from other athletes isn't just the size of the numbers, it's the structure behind them. While many athletes rely heavily on endorsements, Mayweather intentionally limited his partnerships. He didn't want to split revenue or dilute control. Instead, he focused on ownership. Compare that to athletes like LeBron James or Roger Federer, who built massive endorsement portfolios. Mayweather took a different route. He bet on himself and his ability to generate direct revenue, and it worked. Outside the ring, he expanded into multiple business ventures. Through Mayweather Promotions, he continued to earn as a promoter. He launched Mayweather Boxing Plus Fitness, building a global fitness brand. He invested in real estate, acquiring properties across major cities, including Las Vegas, where he spends much of his time. These ventures ensured that his income didn't stop when the fights did, but his lifestyle remained a central part of his brand. Luxury cars, private jets, custom jewelry, large amounts of cash. To some, it appeared excessive, but to Mayweather, it was strategic. Every display reinforced his identity as Money Mayweather. Every image told the same story: winning equals wealth. And that story sold. Throughout his career, Mayweather also faced criticism. Some fans questioned his defensive style, arguing it wasn't as entertaining as more aggressive fighters. Others criticized the timing of his biggest fights or the opponents he chose. Outside the ring, his personal life brought additional scrutiny, but none of it slowed his financial momentum. If anything, it increased interest. Because in the pay-per-view model, attention drives revenue, and Mayweather mastered attention. By his mid-30s, he had evolved beyond being just an athlete. He became a financial ecosystem. Every fight was an event. Every event was a revenue machine, and every revenue machine reinforced his control over the sport. Today, even in retirement, Mayweather continues to generate income through exhibition fights, business ventures, and strategic appearances. His name still carries weight, his brand still sells, and his blueprint still influences the next generation of fighters. Because what he proved is simple, but powerful. Athletes don't have to be employees. They don't have to wait for promoters to pay them. They can control the revenue themselves. And they don't have to wait until retirement to build wealth. They can do it in real time, while they're still at the peak of their careers. Floyd Mayweather didn't just retire undefeated. He retired having changed the business of boxing forever. 50 fights, 50 wins, 0 losses, over $1 billion earned. And a system that he didn't just play in, he mastered it.